And I think the reality is this: Dabo's great
skill. All right, what up, everybody?
Like
Thanks for tuning in. This is episode 109 of the Beefy Boys breakdown.
Gotta make the move at quarterback. And the weird thing is, Dabo did it years ago with Kelly Bryant and Trevor
versus
Lawrence.
Rodriguez.
Said Kelly Bryant's good,
on the main card, we just went over the prelims. Go check that video out. It's on our channel.
Who's a
Give us a subscribe. We break down every
card
on every fight. Every fight on every card. We haven't missed one in over 100 cards, so you can count on us to break down these cards. Sometimes it's Monday, sometimes it's Sunday. We got to work around our schedules, but we'll be there for every single card, every single fight. And we're finally on to this main card, bro. And it starts off with a fight that I was very interested in. I was probably more interested in this fight than like your average UFC fan. And I'm not saying that to toot my own horn. It's just that like I've been kind of pounding the Mark Madsen, and I'm not saying I'm over the
but I'm over that shit too.
I've been banging the Mark Madsen drum for a minute, saying, he could compete with and beat a lot of these guys in the top 15, maybe even the top 10. And I'm super high on him. And he's fighting Grant Dawson.
Tis the season for savings at Diamonds Direct. Join us November 11th through 13th for 20% off designer engagement rings, wedding bands, diamond fashion, gemstone jewelry, and more with Diamonds Direct's...
It's weird. It's weird. It's one of the weirdest things, in MMA, is how little love Grant Dawson gets.
And he has wins over Leandro Santos, Ned Narimani, Jared Gordon, now fighting Mark Madsen.
Exactly.
What else does he have to do to get a ranked matchup?
No, he's not the most interesting guy. He's not always on social media. He doesn't do himself a whole lot of favors. He did have 2 draws mixed in there, which kind of pad the whole undefeated thing a little bit. I guess there's a few reasons why, but he's beat Julian Erosa, he's beat Mike Trizano, he's beat Derek Minner, he's beat Leonardo Santos, like you said, Jared Gordon, and now we'll get to what happens in this one. But I'll be honest, so Mark Madsen at plus 175 was probably one of my favorite my picks of the week. I said I didn't make it down to the sports book, but I like that value. He said, I've been pretty much nut riding Mark Madsen for a while now. I think he's a stud. And, obviously one of the better, if not the best wrestlers and better athlete than a lot of guys. And so I thought now I understand. I feel like I said, I just heaped a bunch of respect on Grant Dawson's name. He's underrated. He's underappreciated. All those things are true. But I thought getting plus 175 on Mark Madsen against anybody that's not upper echelon, I thought was good value. And I kind of still stand by that.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong to think that. The one thing I will say I'm super happy about was Grant Dawson switched up camps, went to Killcliff MMA in Florida, and he left James Krause in Glory, and he said that he didn't feel like he loved fighting whenever he was training there.
It probably is a boring place to train because all their fighters fight kind of a snoozy style in a way, not all of them, but a lot of the times. And so I could see that. I could see that not being the most fun, quote unquote fun place to train. I could totally see that. And and they're not really doing him any favors as far as marketing or
not at all. This was his first fight with a name that actually mattered to give him push. Because Patty's fighting Jared Gordon next, so Patty's technically behind this guy because he just beat Jared Gordon.
Yeah, it's weird how that works, huh? And like I said, beautiful record. So I was really looking forward to this fight, regardless of how it turns out or whatever. I was really looking forward to this one. Now,
started pretty crazy.
Round 1. Well, crazy is one way to put it. I guess if you're an Aljamain Sterling fan, it was crazy. But he just, Grant Dawson took the back and was there for 4 minutes. Didn't do a lot of damage. Didn't threaten a lot of subs. If it sounds like I'm kind of hating, I guess I kind of am. But I didn't love it. Like I said, if you're an Aljamain Sterling fan, I'm sure you needed new shorts. But
I'm going to be honest. This is a snoozy fight minus the first 27 seconds because Dawson gets dropped by Madsen.
You're right.
That's how he gets the takedown because he immediately wakes up and just shoots on the legs.
Yeah, that was weird. That how Madsen. It's almost like Madsen surprised himself. Because he wasn't
you could tell he was whoa.
You don't try to get the knockout, but if you just do what you're supposed to do, it'll come. It was the prime example of that because I don't think Madsen really put everything on that punch or really. I don't think Madsen expected that to drop him, and when it did, it's almost like he wasn't prepared to take advantage of it.
Absolutely true, and in fact, he put himself into a bad position by kind of walking up on it at a halfway pace. He either had to go for it or stay back. Couldn't be in that no man's land.
But you're right. Going into this, we were kind of like, we're going to find out how good both of these guys are. Because like in our past breakdowns of both of these guys, we're like, man, I think these guys can compete with the top guys, but haven't necessarily got an opportunity to prove it. Man, skill set wise, when I saw Grant Dawson get dropped and then take down an Olympic silver medalist, I was like, that just told me all I need to know about, like, A, what this guy's made of, and B, this guy's, like, skill set. Like, how high level is he? He's very high level.
And in round 2, he continued to just be relentless with takedowns and get Madsen on the ground and then control him there.
Yeah, for sure.
And like, he was honestly better on jiu-jitsu as well. I mean, he was passing the half guard pretty much when he wanted to.
Well, Madsen's jiu-jitsu from the bottom was literally some of the worst I've seen in the octagon. Like, it literally looked like something you would see in, like a Game Bred FC, like, level promotion. Like, it was bad bottom game from Madsen. Like, from both, from jiu-jitsu or just trying to stand the fuck up. Like, he pretty much did neither. Like, and I know Grant Dawson's good on top, and it's not like Grant Dawson had something to do with that. But when you're Mark Madsen, the way I look at Mark Madsen, I was sorely disappointed from his bottom game. I held him in higher regards than that, and I was kind of like let down as a fan. Like, I know that seems like kind of dramatic way to put it, but seriously, man, like the lack of bottom game was like, I was like, oh, he's not that guy. But
he's a hammer when he's up and a nail when he's down. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure, man. And then round 2, pretty snoozy. The lack of damage from Dawson was equally as frustrating as Madsen's bottom game because, like I said, there was no reason to play it safe. Now, if you're fighting some, insane submission specialist, yeah, you may not throw a lot of ground and pound, or like some freak athlete that can just explode their way up, which Madsen is a freak athlete, so maybe that's what a little bit of what was going on. But Dawson just played it so safe from top. And like we said, we just saw what Miranda Maverick was able to do on top, one fight previous on the prelims, and she was super active from top. So, like, I don't know, man. It's like I said, I respect Dawson enough to where, like, I expect more from him, if that makes sense. It just felt like he played it super, super safe, which, with Stylebender's fight coming up, I'm sure that'll be a lot of talking points, like guys that play it safe. But, like, didn't love it, man. Like I said, as a guy who was on the edge of my seat, like, couldn't wait to watch this fight, it was boring. Now, we learned a lot, but it was boring.
Yeah. I wrote at the end of my notes, snooziest fight to end in a finish. And so this fight actually does not go the distance. In round 3, essentially, it's more of the exact same as rounds 1 and 2. Except this time, Madsen is broken. I mean, that dude was... And the leg kicks were crazy.
Yeah, Dawson
was getting dropped with leg kicks.
He dropped them with the leg kicks. He wasn't checking the kicks at all, which also looked pretty low level.
Madsen got a lot of holes were shown in his game in that fight Saturday.
He got exposed, man, because like I said, I've made some hot Madsen takes on this podcast. Like, I've said he can go with some top guys, and where's my spoon? Because, bro, I was wrong. Like, in Madsen, he's 38 years old, too, so if you're acting like, oh, well, it's not like he can go to the drawing board, like, there's only a certain extent that he's going to get better in these areas. And
that's my thing, because he's 38. He doesn't have a long time to do this.
Yeah, and then, I mean, it's not to say he can't still, stack a couple impressive wins together, but like there's matchup problems for him. Like any like high level wrestler or even high level jiu-jitsu guy is going to be trouble for him. Now, he showed he had power on the feet, but he showed he can't take a leg kick. So like a lot of Muay Thai and kickboxing guys are going to be bad matchups for him. Like I don't know if I've seen my stock fight drop in a fighter more than this one. And if it sounds like I'm being harsh, like I'm talking like from an X's and O's perspective. Like he can't check leg kicks, so he's going to have trouble with good strikers. He can't. I mean,
his takedown defense is not good on lower body takedowns.
It's not as good as it should be, for sure, especially as a guy who prides himself on the wrestling. And then zero, and I do mean zero bottom game, and really zero defensive jiu-jitsu game. He had no answer when Dawson got to the back. I don't know. Like, we all know what he can do well, but it's like, usually we want to see fighters like plug holes. Like, I think like more holes were exposed. Like, it's not often we like. I'm not trying to go in, but like we literally learned things and we're talking about what we learned from the fight, and the things that we learned just so happen to be like dauber downs for Madsen.
Now, I guess in his defense, he is the underdog, so it's like Vegas does expect him to lose, but I don't think they expect him to get like blown up like that, because this fight wasn't close.
It wasn't close, and also like, but also I think it wasn't close, but also like Dawson could have and should have like beat the dog shit out of it.
Yeah, the lack of damage was surprising from the Dawson side.
Exactly, which makes it like, I don't know. I'll turn it over to you mainly because, you know, I'm a very talkative guy. It's rare that I'm at a loss for words, but I don't really know how I feel about Dawson. Or like, for all the things I learned about Madsen, I don't know what I learned about Dawson. Are you going glass half full, glass half empty? There's a few ways to look at this. Because I said the lack of damage and the lack of excitingness and the lack of marketability is like pretty disturbing. Great win, great performance at the same time, talking out of both sides of my neck.
I think what I learned is Grant Dawson, good on the mic. Because his call out was awesome. The way he phrased it and all of that. Calls for Tony Ferguson. Tries to get himself a ranked fight against number 14. Says he is ranked number 14 because he will beat Tony Ferguson. And then if Tony Ferguson wants his 14 ranking, he's going to have to beat Grant Dawson to keep it. And if he doesn't sign the contract, it's not because Grant Dawson didn't sign it. All a good way to phrase it.
Yeah, that was my favorite part of the call out. That last part you said about like, I'll sign it. So if this fight doesn't happen, you know it's on him. It really puts Tony Ferguson in the corner. You're in the minority with loving it though. Twitter and Instagram hated the call out. Like, although
it hit all the notes.
Entire comment sections agreeing, which never happens in the MMA community. Just all hating this call out. No, I think they hated it from like I'm a fan of Tony Ferguson perspective.
Yeah.
And like,
but is Tony Ferguson deserving of that much love anymore?
Well, and they were kind of saying like, "Oh, leave the poor guy alone," but it's like, hey, it's not a poor guy; it's the 14th ranked guy in the most competitive division in the UFC.
Yeah.
So I'm more with you than I am with them, but I did just want to like bring that to the table that like Twitter and Instagram hated the call out and don't want to see it. So I thought it was so interesting that you brought up how much you loved it. But like I said, I kind of agree with you in the fact that at the love it, hate it, you can't really like. It's a smart call out for Dawson. It's just very, and also like real talk for everybody saying like, oh, I don't want to watch that fight. Imagine what this fight looks like against somebody with a bottom game as diverse as Tony Ferguson. Like
a lot more fun matchup.
Bottom game. It's way better. It's way better. Like imagine like
you might be scoring rounds to Ferguson based on damage because Dawson doesn't do much damage from the top, but Tony Ferguson does a lot.
And we didn't really get to see Dawson like defend slick subs from bottom and shit like that.
And Tony's takedown defense is pretty good.
Yeah, probably better than Madsen's, and like and obviously a better striker than Madsen. So as bad as Ferguson's like our recent series of him are, and as much as a lot of people are probably trying to have a wet dream, pipe dream about him fighting Conor, I don't hate it. And for the flip side, if you say you are just like a Tony Ferguson fan who wants to see good things happen to Tony Ferguson, I mean, he's not going to get a quote-unquote easier fight than this one. Like, everybody else is going to – I mean, you could argue maybe Conor, but, like, I don't think that's happening. I don't think Conor's ever making 55 again. Maybe not even fighting again. So, I think –
yeah, I just don't know if he ever fights.
And so, like I said, I mean, there are other – don't get me wrong. There's other fights you can make for Tony Ferguson. There's probably bigger fights you can make with Tony Ferguson. But, like, if you really want to see Tony Ferguson get in the win column, I mean, an unranked guy that doesn't do a lot of damage and is kind of one-dimensional, I mean, I don't see why everybody's like, oh, that's fucked up to give Tony that matchup. Like, I don't know if it gets any better. Like, that may be the best matchup out there for him, like, literally.
Yeah. I mean, because Tony, I don't want to see Tony Ferguson fight, personally, honestly. I just would rather not. I think he needs to just be done because it's guys like Grant Dawson that are going to be the ones that could beat him, and that's going to lower his stock so much, man.
Yeah, for sure. And like I think Dawson's trying to eat that star. Makes sense to me. I understand the not liking it, but I also understand where it makes a whole lot of sense. But on that note, you know, we can keep it pushing.
Well, let me ask you one lightweight question here real fast, too.
Yeah, by all means. Love talking lightweights.
If Patty is to beat Jared Gordon in December, do you try to make a Patty Conor fight?
I don't think, and I
mean, rankings wise and skill wise, that is probably what it should be, right?
I'm saying I don't think Conor can or will make 155. I can't even allow my mind to like go there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't. It's not happening. Like, it's not like if we see Conor again, it'll be at 170. Now, it may be at 170 against a 55 like Chandler, or sure if you want to like do some kind of weird spectacle shit where he fights Patty at 70. We all know Patty can make 70. That okay. We can maybe, you know, have that pipe dream together, but I just don't think it's really worth conversation. Would it be fun? Would it sell? Yes, sure. You know, to me, what that is, like Chael always says, like anybody can sell a Ferrari. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, who's out here moving used Volvos?
But why does the Ferrari sell itself? Because it's so good.
It's good, like I said. It's just like the logistics of it, like the details. Like is it at 70? Because if it's at 55, I'll just say like it's not happening. We don't even need to waste our breath. If you want to make some kind of super fight, weird BMF 170 catch weight type of weird situation, sure, we can kick that can around. I don't know. I don't hate it. Thanks for bringing it to the show. I'm being a stick in the mud here.
I'm just saying, if you want to sell at a soccer stadium and break the all-time gate for any event maybe ever besides like a World Cup final, it's that fight.
We make sit-down chicken, stand-up chicken, backyard chicken,
all the Irish
Loops chicken,
will be there.
lots of time chicken, no time chicken. If there's one thing we know, it's chicken, chicken, and chicken. More choices, more wow, more to love. Tyson.
It's not for a belt, so I mean, 167. I don't know, man. If you gave it to him 6 months ahead of time, he has the money to hire dietitians to get him there.
Yeah, I personally think he would whoop Patty's ass.
No,
like,
I think honestly,
reason
I'm kind of down on Patty is the reason I bring that up. Is because I think you got to milk his star before he... Because I was looking at the rankings, and I think Jalen Turner gives him the hands. I think Demir's Magulov is a hard fight. I think Dan Hooker's a fun fight. I think Drew Dober's a fun fight. I think Connor's a fun fight. I don't think Patty's a top 10 lightweight.
I don't either, man. And I think that, like, Patty gets hit. We've seen Patty get dropped by... lack of better terms, cans.
I think Sarukian lights him up.
I don't think he lights him up. I think he like 30-25, just like Khabib style, just like
Sarukian.
Yeah, like I'm just saying, like I think he just like wins 10-8 rounds. Like, I think he like sparks his lights out. I think Conor sparks his lights out. Is what I'm getting at.
Oh yeah, well I mean Patty does have a crazy chin. Scousers don't get knocked out. It's great.
But they get dropped by cans.
Right, but I'm saying they don't get knocked out. So, like, put up the man with the biggest left of all time, and let's see.
That's what I'm saying. Those punches that land, who was it, Vargas and these other guys.
Kazula Vargas.
Like, bro, if that's Conor's left, he's out. Like, fuck the Scousers. Like, fuck all that shit, bro. If that's a left from Conor, that's a short night.
If it's a fucking front kick from Oliveira, or a Gaethje uppercut, or a Chandler overhand, those all probably sleep Patty.
That's 100%, and like he hasn't proven that he can fight like a clean fight, which is fun. Don't get me wrong, it's fun. But like saying you don't have a chin, that's like I don't know. That's like Charles Oliveira trying to talk about his chin, but he gets dropped in every fight. Like, I guess there is different definitions of chin.
Well, he always recovers. His recovery rate's crazy. It's not necessarily his chin's good; it's his recovery ability.
Well, I think of chin. I think of like Magny Mariano, who's just like you can just shoot him in the face.
Just eat shots like stone.
He does the Terminator slow head turnaround, like that's more of my definition of chin, like a Shane Burgos just walks through the.
Do you hear that?
Fire. There's an argument
a storm
is about being dropped from recovering and learning to fight for sure. I think that's more.
That's
like
the sound of returning champion South Carolina, led by coach, genius, extraordinaire, Don Staley, and star forward Aaliyah Boston.
It's something, but
they're back and better than ever.
You know what I mean?
Looking to beat a 35-2 record in Division I basketball.
Took enough time with that long lightweight conversation. We go to the flyweights. It's Tagir Ulan.
Right on their tails, as always, Coach Vanderveer and the Stanford Cardinal. Hey, I know them. They're scheduled to face off against South Carolina on November 20th. Want to know what Stanford has that South Carolina doesn't? Two superstars, in Haley Jones and Cameron Brink. Two of the top players in the country. We'll let you decide.
I really respect Nate Maness.
That's the sound of the Yukon Husky.
Also,
with Hall of Fame coach Gino Ariema at the helm. Although his task is a little tougher than he expected. He's already without superstar Paige Beckers, who tore her ACL in the offseason and has now dubbed herself coach.
Yeah.
Oh, that sound? That's automatic bucket, Caitlin Clark and the Iowa Hawkeyes. They're back with a vengeance.
I knew someone in that fight.
Looking to add to the chaos, Vic Schaefer and the Longhorns. The Final Four is just within grasp, and Coach Schaefer can feel it. And who can forget about those Lady Vols, who just like every year, look to be right in the mix. Women's college basketball is here. It's back. There's nothing quite like it. And it's always full of surprises. Buckle up, basketball fans. Time to get started.
Searching. They're searching.
And I don't love that, and I don't love betting on fighters that do that. You know what I mean? It's
you don't want that to be where you're at. You know, it's not a good place to be.
It's like a hot
especially matched up with a guy like Ulan Beckham. So, like, there's a lot of reasons why I didn't like it. To the point where I thought minus 225 on Ulan Beckham was kind of hard to say value, but
he goes right into coverage.
Yeah, I mean, some of the
Mascarena's Arnold is sitting right in the middle of the field, reading the eyes.
Another Dagestani up to run through the top
behind Jalen McMillan, and Mascarena's Arnold makes a pay all the way to the end zone.
It did, man, because I mean, this fight only lasts 2 minutes and 11 seconds, and always say it was a fun fight. And when you say Nate Maness is like, oh, how did you give him all his money's worth whenever the last 2 minutes and 11 seconds? Because like
the initial guy gets there. Arnold gets there.
Wildcat formation. Tyler touchdown.
Probably wasn't close.
From 2 yards out, the Huskies an extra point away from tying it up.
I managed to get this kind of wide. Things long in the division, the college guy in the side of the division.
It's been a minute for Wayne Alabama, but the Wildcat, as you described, gets right in there behind a couple of big grunts.
And so, and then, but Ulan Beckham, we all knew it wasn't a matter of if, but when he would get the fight to the ground. And then, like, actually, I heard Maness, like, he made a post about it, how whenever he got
excited to get back to Neyland, see your fans here this Saturday. Salute to service game. Obviously, want to thank all the men and women that have made so many sacrifices to give us the opportunity to do the things that we do. It's also Senior Day. It'll be a great day to recognize those guys that have meant so much and poured so much into this program. Obviously, for me, just thinking back to when I first got here, these guys have been a huge part of laying the foundation, helping our program build extremely quickly here over the last 2 years, and building this program back to where it should be, which is competing at the highest level. Excited to celebrate that with those guys today. There's a whole month of football, and there's a lot of ball left to be played by everybody in the country. Up until this point, we've done a lot of things right, obviously, in that ball game a week ago. Credit to Georgia, too.
It does seem like exactly what happened, to be fair.
Obviously, we didn't come out on the right side of the scoreboard. There's nothing that we can control other than who we are, how we approach it, how we go play and compete. At the end of the day, it's about trying to find a way to be the best team on the field during the 60 minutes. That's all we're concerned about. Just on the defensive side of the ball, look at them statistically, they've been really good against the run. Played tight pass coverage too.
Yes, he does.
They're one of the top 3-4 scoring units inside of our league defensively. They've played at a really high level and make you earn it. Offensively, have some weapons out on the outside that are explosive and can create big plays. You got to do a great job of handling the line of scrimmage and applying pressure to the quarterback too.
Is that the Hadley matchup?
I don't know, man. Ulan Bekov is very good. Seems to be very dangerous. He's number 15. Number 15.
He was 15. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I mean, Micaiah's 14, but you're not going to put them against each other because that's probably a snoozy kind of a fight. Sumu Darji is really fun for Ulan Bekov, who's number 11.
Defensively.
That's kind of just like a better version of Nate Maness if you think about it.
Right, and then, I mean, Jeff Molina's 13. Manel Cobb is 12.
Molina's booked against Flick.
Similar to Tennessee, but they're really not similar.
So maybe the winner of that gets to win back.
Kind of the third week of facing a different
that's a hell of
what they do offensively.
Congratulations. But I feel it makes sense ranking-wise. But yeah, I mean, Ulanbekov, I mean, he's already in the rankings, so big things coming for him.
So it's a new challenge
tough
for our
matchups
guys.
for the division.
Our guys will be excited about getting ready for it. It's an extremely tough place to play, a place I've been many times.
Nasty guillotine,
their environment
good wrestling.
Electric.
Now, I mean, we did see the striker. I don't know if you want to say exposed, because he was able to, like, you know, get it where he wanted it to go, but not the best striker, you know. But they said the same thing about him as well. So it's tough. It's tough to tell with these guys, like how if you not the greatest striker, but spend hardly any time in striking exchanges, like how do you factor that in? You know, it's tough.
I don't know how many games he's played.
Right. Well, and then you got to think too, like, what if he fights a guy like Manel Kopp that's super fast? He doesn't
make mistakes. He
just
coaches his offense.
That'd be interesting, just like the level of athlete that Kopp is. I mean, that is hard to take down. Not a bad suggestion.
And then Sue Darcy's fun because he's so big.
They're usually one step ahead of their answers than you are because you don't play against
them
once a year,
and
they do it all the time.
Yeah. Shooting on that would get a little dicey for sure. So fun matchup there, flyweight. I would team up, and like that's the main reason that I'm so bummed that we're getting like Figgy Moreno 4. Even though
they may not be the same players they were because a lot of those guys are gone. They are
it's like for
extremely
physical, as the bottom end is, the top end is hella logged in.
Defense coordinator does a great job.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to take guys like Mateusz Nicolau and Matt Schnell to put together, and Albazi, those guys to put together win streaks right now to try and challenge. Because essentially, I mean,
Nicolau and Schnell fight. They're fighting next weekend, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, the UFC is desperate to get them and Royval and Pantoja up there.
No, in all truth about Clemson, I think the reality is this: Dabo's great skill or trait is like his loyalty and his undying belief in his players.
Something always happens.
Got to make the move at quarterback. And the weird thing is, Dabo did it years ago with Kelly Bryant and Trevor Lawrence. Said Kelly Bryant's good, but Trevor Lawrence is better. They've got a true freshman, Cade Klubnik, who's a superstar talent. We've seen this offense under DJ Uiagalelei for the better part of a year and a half, almost 2 years. It's not good anymore. So that is a massive. Clemson's done. They're done out of the playoff. And I think they're at a little bit of a crossroads program-wise, because at some point they got to kickstart their program.
Also,
maybe it's a Charles Oliveira thing,
I
and
think
he's
the
just the
difference
dark
is
horse
that
until he's
DJ
not.
was supposed to be the Trevor as well. We didn't
Good
think
point,
that Kelly
Also,
Bryant was that sort of player. When you have a Trevor Lawrence sitting behind it, right, it's easy to make that move.
Is Clemson definitely
retired / released /
long gone. I mean, they have
is having health issues apparently and needs time to like not work out and like I don't know what it is. He's obviously not talking very like open about it, but I mean conditionally retiring. UFC did grant him release, so
I mean that helps kind of clear things up a little bit. You still got Kai confidence hanging around up there. You got.
I mean, you gotta wonder, man, too. Like, is it weight cutting issues? Like, is his liver like having problems? You know what I'm saying? Like long term style. Like he's having endocrine issues.
Yeah, maybe that's what my brain is, because he's just weighed a couple of times, I think. He's been making that weight class for a long time. Yeah, that's what my brain was.
Pretty thick for 25 too.
Getting older, you know, it gets harder as you get older. But yeah, let's keep it pushing here. Because there's actually a lot of, like, I don't know if you've heard any of, like, the, like, I don't even know if conspiracy, like, is the word, but any of just the talk, the chatter about this next fight, the Miller and Becky fight. Have you heard anything that's been happening at the sportsbook? It's crazy.
Are people asking for their money back, saying that it was the same shit as Dillashaw?
No, the opposite. Like, the gambling integrity shit is, like, looking into this thing that, like, people are kind of accusing Miller of throwing this fight like point-saving type shit. I don't think that's what happened. I think he was hurt, much like Dillashaw, a pretty fair comparison. And rumor got out that, not rumor, like facts got out that he was very hurt but was going to fight anyway. So in like the 4 hours leading up to this fight, the line jumped from like minus 200.
You know, they always ready to play.
All the way up.
They always rebound
like
over the years.
That's how there was that much.
You know, you're going to go play the best offensive player in the country and the best defensive player in the country. So,
and because it's like
very challenging situation. But glad to be home. Had a nice long home winning streak here.
Big, sharp, and public.
These guys have
was coming
great players
in.
And great schemes.
Not even public. Big sharp money was coming in.
Typical rap
on
they do.
Northern Becky and the KO, all those things. And
not
so,
often that you got a returning Heisman Trophy winner.
Personally, I'm not going to go too tinfoil hat here. I think his injury
positions where one touches the ball every down and the other one's lined up really close to the quarterback. So,
I don't think there's too much more to it than that.
Really
but they're kind
the
of
two best
like,
positions to have the
Minner's
best players
not being
at.
directly accused of throwing the fight, but like,
you got to do everything.
I wonder if
right
it was someone reaching out being like, "I'll give you $100,000."
You got to coach really well, play really well, win situations, manage things, take risks.
Buckery, potentially a foot here.
There's a reason why.
Like I said, the Nevada, like gambling integrity
we're talking
office
about
or whatever.
When they played them, two of the hottest teams in the country. On the road in two of the hardest environments to play, and they were one-play games. We're talking about
that is pretty wild.
If you watch the
really,
fight, the only thing that lends kind of credence to the conspiracy theory, and this will kind of roll us into the actual breakdown, kind of X's and O's, is the very first strike of the fight. Minner throws his left leg in a kick and immediately like kind of winces.
Touch wood. I mean, it's incredible. And that's why he is the #1 T20 player in the world at the moment, because of that consistency in a format where scoring at the strike rate that he does actually doesn't, it's not easy to be consistent with the kind of strike rate he's scoring at. So it's just fantastic, just the way he's playing. I think he's been very clear in his processes. He's very clear about his tactics. And I think he's worked very hard. I think one of the things about Surya is just the amount of hard work that he's put in the nets, in thinking about his game, his fitness. I mean, if I look at Surya from a couple of years ago, just to see how he takes care of his body and the amount of time he spends on his fitness, I think he's just really earning the rewards for a lot of the hard work that he's put in on and off the field. And long may it continue. And I think he's been absolutely phenomenal for us. And, he's just a joy to watch. It's a pleasure to watch him bat when he's in that kind of form. And, every time it's like he puts on a show, without a doubt. Yeah, I mean, we've, in a sense that it's not that we've ever lost confidence in Rishabh. I think we've got confidence in all of our 15 players who play here. It's only 11 guys who can play, and, it depends on the combinations that you have. The very fact that they are here and they're part of the World Cup means that we have a lot of confidence in them. It means that any time they can be called on to play in the 11. And that's really the role of when you pick 15 players and you pick 15 from so many other options that you have. That means you've actually got a lot of confidence in this 15. Yes, you can only play 11 at times, and some people sometimes miss out and don't have to play. But again, Rishabh, someone I think, as a lot of you would have been seeing, you'll have been traveling with us. He's been batting a lot in the nets. He's been hitting a lot of balls, doing a lot of fielding practice and keeping practice and keeping himself ready. And the opportunity came today for us to give him an opportunity and to play him in this game. And yeah, I mean, obviously it didn't kind of work out today, but absolutely no, I'm not bothered about that at all, because I think he took the right option. His role was to take on the left arm spinner, which was there, and sometimes it comes off, sometimes it doesn't. So, I don't think we judge people on one game, and sometimes, whether we play them or not is not based on one game. Sometimes it's just matchups, what we think would be something that we might need here or going ahead as well into the next part of the tournament. What are the skills we might need against which are the kind of bowlers that we might come up against. So a lot of things go into these kind of decisions. He's had good games as well. Again, that's the nature of this tournament, this format. The nature of this format is such that, you can get taken apart, especially today, in a day like today when they lost a lot of wickets. They had nothing to lose. They could go after it. And he's bowled well as well. I think he bowled well in a couple of games and took few wickets in those games as well. And I thought he bowled a very good over against Bangladesh. Just before the rain break, he bowled an over for 6 runs. So, it can happen in this format. I'm not necessarily concerned. Yes, he would have liked to have had a better day than today. But, having said that, he's been someone who's actually bowled really well for us over the last period of time. Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head, really. I mean, a couple of the things we did want to achieve was to try and bat first. If we got the opportunity, obviously we needed to win the toss for that. Just because we had, honestly, we had bowled first against Pakistan when we came here. We just wanted to experience what it was to sort of set a score in these kind of conditions. Also, we felt that if we batted first, it would give us an opportunity to play
right now,
20 overs and just
Money
get into that ability of still trying to get a par plus score, batting first. And then, like you said, I mean, sometimes, we give us the opportunity also to play Rishabh, keeping obviously this game in mind as well, but also just keeping the future in mind as well, and just opening up our options. I'm not saying that I think everyone is available for selections just because somebody missed out in this game doesn't mean that we can't go back to him or, and we can't decide on, we might go the same way, we might go a different way as well. But we just wanted to ensure that we have our options open, gave Rishabh an opportunity to have game time, which was really important. He was probably the only player in our team who hadn't played a game after Western Australia. We played a couple of games in Western Australia where he played. Then he didn't play the practice game. He was supposed to play the second one, and then that got washed out in Brisbane, I think, and then he's not played. So we just wanted to ensure that he also gets some game time so that at least all of our 15 have got some amount of game time in both the practice games and in this tournament, so that, if we have a whole set of 15 to choose from, and we'll pick what we think is the best 11 for the day against the opposition looking at the pitch.
And like some sports pulled the bet, because they smelled bullshit. So I don't know, man. It's interesting.
All right, you want to hear the UFC's official response?
Sure.
All right, so like many
what'd you make of Mo Salah?
Organizations, UFC works with an independent.
Well, look, there were question marks. So much better when he plays centrally, right? You look at it's still funny looking at it, because when you look at the front three, you always say, well, who's playing central? All three can, right? We had Darwin Núñez playing on the left, and Bobby Firmino on the right, and Mo Salah centrally. But that's been his new role as of late. There's a couple different systems that we've seen 4-4-2 from Jurgen Klopp, but three central strikers for the most part. And I don't know if you normally pick Mo Salah in that spot, right? You probably want to get Darwin Núñez going. And speaking of whom, he really got Liverpool going. Let's be honest, because he's been criticized more maybe than Mo Salah, for sure, because Mo Salah's been scoring, as I've mentioned. But Darwin Núñez, not only has he been scoring, but in this particular game, if you remember, before they score a couple times. From the get-go, from the opening whistle, he was really there or thereabout. A couple misses, shots from distance. So he was busy, and of course he played a massive role in that first goal, which was really, really good when Robertson found Darwin Núñez, and then I guess the composure to see Mo Salah, who kind of instinctively 1-2 touch, put that away. So yeah, for Mo Salah. Think about it. When you look at Mo Salah, really, in so many ways, I think it is his best position. We're so used to him being on that right-hand side because he can come in on the left foot.
I wonder what he had to
say
about
this. But I just think that if you give him the freedom to be anywhere,
this is like Hammer the Nuremberg first round on his podcast about his own guy.
He's like, I really like Shylon here. Probably early, too.
That'd be wild. I honestly...
Tis the season for savings at Diamonds Direct. Join us November 11th through 13th for 20% off designer engagement rings, wedding bands, diamond fashion, gemstone jewelry, and more. With Diamonds Direct's unmatched selection, the perfect gift for yourself or the one you love is within reach. Plus, you can keep your gift merry and bright for years to come with our lifetime warranty included with each purchase. Make your appointment for this must-see event. Find out more information and shop online at diamondsdirect.com.
But I think that the problem today was one that I think we all understand, but sometimes we don't give it credit for. That's Bruno Fernandes. We saw how important he is.
Yeah.
The true leader on that pitch when it comes, that leadership on the pitch where you tie in all formations and when you get everybody going.
That would be wild,
right? Because last week, I was talking here and I was talking about Premier League Express show with Murray.
And said he didn't love fighting when he was there?
Ways for me, Christian Eriksen is the most important player, and he is. But Bruno Fernandes needs to be there because we could see today that those cover for Eriksen is just too much. He needed to help Luke Shaw.
Hey, you're selling me on the old
with Jacob Ramsey and Ali Watkins there.
To be honest,
anybody else that was drifting to the right hand side. And I just think that sitting next to Casemiro is fine. We're further up the pitch.
That
Bruno
information in the right
Fernandes
sharp's
does
hands
his
or the
thing,
right
and he
betting
usually does it
podcaster's
very,
hands
very
or
well.
the
So
right,
that was missing
like,
in a team
you know what
that,
I'm saying?
you
Like,
know,
it's
this is
different if
Manchester
it's one
United
guy
that
at the
can't
book
afford to
finds out
have,
about it, but
you
like
know, the
if
best
a
players
big,
out. Just simple as
if a
that.
big bookie or a big whale or a big shark
A
or
wise guy.
a wise guy gets a hold of that information, you know what I mean? I mean, don't get me wrong. The whole James Krause thing is.
'Tis the season for savings at Diamonds Direct. Join us November 11th through 13th for 20% off designer engagement rings, wedding bands, diamond fashion, gemstone jewelry, and more. With Diamonds Direct's unmatched selection, the perfect gift for yourself or the one you love is within reach. Plus, you can keep your gift merry and bright for years to come with our lifetime warranty included with each purchase. Make your appointment for this must-see. Find out more information and shop online at diamondsdirect.com.
Remember the guy's like, yeah, he bets me all the time. Boom.
Hey, it's super plausible scenario. I bet Krause is going to be.
He's out there sweating bullets in Missouri.
Yeah, sweating bullets, man. He might be taking a vacation soon, but
let's push this co-main.
Yeah, because this co-main is worth talking about, man. I was super excited for this one.
Great fight, I thought.
We have actual even odds that tells you all you need to know. That's exactly how I felt about it.
Yeah, minus 110.
Minus 110. Got G-Rod, Amanda Rodriguez, number 14 welterweight, fighting Neil Magny, number 13 welterweight. Magny's coming off that Rachmanov loss. Rodriguez has had a couple fights fall through. So, I mean, it's one of those things where I was like rooting for G-Rod, like as a fan, like heart not brain, but I probably wouldn't have trusted this guy. I didn't feel strongly about either guy. Magny, he's getting older, he's coming off the bad loss, like I don't think we have nothing to change. He's fighting guys like G-Rod, like I don't know. And then G-Rod, super powerful, super dangerous, struggles to make weight. You know, not the most like well-rounded guy, pretty one-dimensional. It's like one of those things where like I wanted G-Rod to win because I think it's like fun and I kind of like his story and whatever, marketable guy.
I mean, number
like,
14, fighting number 13.
Oh yeah, it makes all the sense in the world from a matchmaking, like clear up murkiness in the back end of the division. Like, I like this fight. I like everything about it, but I'm just saying I don't think I would have bet it. Did you feel strong enough to bet it? Either way?
No, not at minus 110. No.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Now, if I got plus money on Magny somehow, like a plus 140, yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
same here. That minus 110 really just scared me off for both guys. Like, I don't have a reason to like.
People have kind of written.
Let's see what it opened at real fast before we dive into this breakdown, because it is a back and forth fight, and the minus 110 I think is very justified here.
We need to get.
All right, James Krause is over the deep dive with that info.
Let's just see.
Play the game. Win the game.
D-Rod started as the underdog.
No, you're going to go into the
plus
game
100. So not much movement.
Yeah. See, if I would have got D-Rod at plus 100, I probably would have taken that. Like that minus like.
But people did obviously. Like I'm like probably like a 57-43 split at that number, and then 50-50 almost at minus 110. So literally a fight that is almost impossible to pick, and the money's coming almost even on both sides.
It kind of took place in that fashion. This is one of the first fights all night that we've had to kind of go round by round on. Like you kind of have to.
Oh, you definitely have to.
Because I mean, round one, I mean, I thought it was what started off great for Neil Magny. Actually, it started off great for
started great for D-Rod, yeah.
Yeah, I do have round one going to Magny.
Me too. Magny came on strong and kept a good pace after all that.
The hard lefts from D-Rod and the especially to the body, they were looking vicious and strong and fast and accurate. And I mean, I don't know how many more of those Magny could take. But that being said, he was marching forward and he walked right on to a Magny jab right on the nose, busted the nose like early in this fight. And quite frankly, I mean, maybe an oversimplification, D-Rod never looked the same after that jab.
No, I think it was giving him trouble breathing. You could tell his cardio was bad.
Yeah, all of the above. Well, I thought that was like a defining moment, both on like the damage for scoring the round, but also like moving forward.
Yeah, so based on that damage, I definitely gave it to Magny, although I think Magny won on a lot of intangible facets as well, minus D-Rod's start.
And Magny was able to very easily take like a standing back take, and that was there all
night. The duck under to the back was crazy. He kept hitting it.
Now, he wasn't able to do much with it, was kind of disappointing, but he could get
until
it whenever he wanted.
Until he did.
Yeah. Until he did, exactly. But he was able to get that whenever he wanted it, which is kind of disappointing to see from D-Rod, to be honest. But not surprising, but disappointing. It's like, I like D-Rod. I want to think of him as being like a more high level, but
I thought in round 2 that D-Rod actually
Tis
came
the
out
season for savings
round.
at Diamonds Direct. Join us November 11th through 13th for 20% off designer engagement rings, wedding bands, diamond fashion, gemstone jewelry, and more. With Diamonds Direct's unmatched selection, the perfect gift for yourself or the one you love is within reach. Plus, you can keep your gift merry and bright for years to come with our lifetime warranty included with each purchase. Make your appointment for this must-see event. Find out more information and shop online at diamondsdirect.com.
As opposed to the body, and they were landing clean and they were causing damage. I saw it the same way as you. So we have a 1 round apiece, which was fucking awesome. That's exactly how I wanted this fight to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, imagine a fight that comes to the 3rd round at -110 each, and the pretty much clear scoring of it. Every judge agrees with us. It's 19-19. It comes down to the last round.
100% does, and
now, with that being said, Magny pretty much dominated the 3rd.
Yeah, 3rd wasn't all that close. I think
D-Rod's cardio was done.
His cardio was done, which, like I said, if you want to trace that back to the nose or trace it back to him struggling to make the weight class in the past, he's a pretty big, and not in the best way, big welterweight.
It does almost go the distance. It's over 2.5.
Oh, for sure. It hits the over 2.5 at 3 minutes and 33 seconds. He's able to do that duck under. And then what? D-Rod drops to his knees and then gets the darce. Is that how it went down?
Yeah, so D-Rod drops down to try and prevent the hooks, and Magny kind of rolls off the side and then gets the front headlock from there, and then honestly has the anaconda and then rotates his arms back out the other side, and that's when he switches and comes out to the 90-degree bend on him and starts to lock his hands and push down his head, causes D-Rod to roll. When you roll, you pretty much roll yourself into the choke, and then Magny hooks that underside leg so that D-Rod can't get his hips out at all, and submits him from there with the darce.
Yeah, great win. I mean, slick Dars, important win for Neil Magny. Sucks for D-Rod because it wasn't really fluky. Like I think we are kind of seeing D-Rod.
I think D-Rod's a 20 to 16 ranked fighter. I don't think he's outside that. I think he's really good. But I think if you're a top 15 guy, that's a guy you got to get past.
Yeah, and like he's a great, like not a great striker, but I mean a tough striker, an effective striker, a powerful striker, but just not well-rounded enough. Like D-Rod's not going to shoot a takedown on you. He's not going to take your back, generally speaking. Like he's going to pretty much try to box you. And like I said, how easily Neil Magny was able to get that duck under and take his back. I think he did it in every round. I mean, it was with no resistance.
5 takedowns in the fight.
So, like, slick grapplers, even good wrestlers are just pretty much, I feel like, always going to beat D-Rod. Now, is there going to be a couple of, young prospects that try to call out D-Rod and bite off more than they can chew and take an ass whooping? For sure, because he's no slouch. But I just don't know how, like, high level, you know what I mean?
Oh, I fully agree with you, man. And then I think on the flip side of it, right? Like, what's next for Neil Magny? He's calling for Gilbert Burns. I think that's way too much, in all honesty. I'm looking at his fight record here. I mean, he's fought straight legends and has the most wins in welterweight of all time. Which,
yeah, it broke the record.
Right, which you can't discount. And he is a dangerous dude. But when I'm over here looking at the rankings, he hasn't fought Jorge Masvidal. He hasn't fought Vicente Luque. He hasn't fought Sean Brady. He hasn't fought Stephen Thompson. I think he has a loss to Jeff Neal. Let me see if it's a loss or a... He has a win over Jeff Neal, who's number 6.
He has a win over Jeff Neal. Wow, that win aged well, too.
Right. So, it's one of those where, like, that's where he's getting the push, where he's like, well, I beat 6. Why wouldn't I get to fight 5?
I mean, first off, those first 3 names you listed, what was it? Masvidal, Sean Brady, and...
Masvidal, Brady, and Luque. I love all 3 of those.
I love all 3 of those.
Luque would be a great fight. I love all
3 of those.
Brady'd be a good fight. Because
you're right.
Masvidal would be a good fight.
I thought the Gilbert Burns was a little bit of a reach, but however, Neil Magny, as much work and heavy lifting he's done for the promotion, like if anybody's owed like a favor, quote unquote, it's probably Neil Magny. Like,
and does have the single boat in the water to fucking wade in that is I've beaten 6.
Well, he's beaten 6. He took the Rachmanov fight, which I'm sure is kind of a scratch my back, I'll scratch your back situation.
But clearly not, because they gave him D-Rod right after that. But that's not...
I don't know. See, I thought that was kind of a favor. Like, not a favor, but like they gave him a winnable fight. Like,
true, but the real favor would have been to force Masvidal to fight him. But Masvidal might be an act to do the whole Colby Covington stuff.
I'm so fucking tired of hearing that shit from both of them. Like, honestly, like, I know the court system's slow, and they both got good lawyers that are probably going to make it even slower. But fuck, am I tired of that shit. Like, I want to see either both of these guys fight or both of these guys out of the rankings. Like, maybe not Colby out of the rankings, but Masvidal can fuck off if he doesn't fight soon. Like, seriously. And then, like, so I love all those matches. The Sean Brady one, though, I don't know, man. They're all fun, and I can think of reasons why each of them would not get made. You know what I'm saying? And then the Gilbert. So as far did you read on Twitter Gilbert Burns' response to this call out? It's kind of interesting. I think it's kind of like realistic and interesting. I don't know if you heard.
No,
about
I didn't.
So Burns messaged him back or tweeted him and was like, "So I have apparently Burns is booked to fight, and I don't know who, but he said he was booked to fight on the Rio card, the Brazil card." But he said if his opponent drops out, he'd love for like Neil Magny to be the replacement. And
yeah,
agree to it.
It's not announced on what's it called? On the UFC's website. Let me check Twitter real fast while we talk about what his response was.
Yeah. So I thought that was like a fair response for Gilbert Burns and kind of a realistic, plausible scenario where Magny could get that fight. Like if whoever is booked against Burns pulls out and they're scrambling to find a late replacement, Magny would be the perfect guy for the job. And I don't know, like I would like Burns in that fight, but it also like it's a good matchup because I mean Magny's so much taller. I mean Burns has good jiu-jitsu, but so does Magny. I think if Burns starts landing big power on him, it's probably trouble for Magny, but the same could be said for Burns. Has showed kind of a struggle to be able to get inside against some guys that fight him smart, unlike Hamzat.
So apparently they're going to run back Chimaev and Burns.
That's lame. I mean, it's not lame because that was a heater, and it'll probably be another heater. But
I don't know. You can't get two heaters like that.
I'm not. I mean, where the man Colby or Bilal or any of these guys like
make Colby and Bilal fight each other.
No, I'm saying, or make one of them fight Hamzat. Like, why would we run back the Burns fight? Granted, a lot of. See, that's also probably because I scored it for Hamzat, but then rewatching it, that fight was close. And
super close, and I mean, I did, 29-28, but, like, I don't think you get that much of a war of a fight this next time. I think Hamzat fights a lot smarter because he understands how powerful Burns is. He got tagged by him. He's not going to do that again.
And his coach, like, laid into his ass. Like, I'm sure he got his ass chewed.
And they're going to punish Hamzat because he missed weight by 9.5 pounds, or 8 pounds, or 7.5 technically, and was popping all that bullshit and caused all those problems for them, and made them reschedule the whole thing and pay Kevin Holland a fat bag.
Yeah, man.
Like, he's in the doghouse. He's not getting any good treatment.
I feel you. I just, in my opinion, and it is my opinion, like as far as like punishment, like fighting Colby, it's hard to say that's a punishment. That's probably a reward, but like. Make him fight Bilal if you want to punish him. It gives the fans something new. It's down in the rankings.
So but Burns is just one down in the rankings, and Bilal doesn't deserve that. And Gilbert's such a dog, and he'll love to fight. And Hamzat's got to go to Brazil to do it.
So you sound like you don't hate it. I kind of hate it.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but where did Gilbert Burns and Hamzat fight each other at? Was it not Abu Dhabi?
Was that Abu Dhabi?
Let's see.
Was that the Prohaska Glover card, right?
Is it? What a fight card, if that's right.
I think it was.
Let's see. It's it's Jacksonville. So Volkanovski, Korean Zombie.
And Gilbert Burns lives in Florida, so.
Damn. So he gets two home matchups.
Two home matchups.
That is fucked up.
Yeah, man. All right. Well, I guess so. We'll see what happens. If Hamzat misses weight, then Magny gets the fight. I don't know. I don't hate that.
You know, and I guess from Hamzat's perspective, only guy he's never finished is Gilbert Burns. Every other fight he's finished.
I just hate how Colby's getting a pass here, honestly.
Oh, you're still on this Colby thing.
I'm on Colby's ass for not fighting one of these top dudes and claiming taking up room.
He's got a legal case he's got to fight. I can't even finish that.
Yeah, like, fuck that shit, man. Like, take a page. Half the NFL's fighting cases.
Jesus. Jesus. All right, well, let's push on to the main event here, because I think there's a lot to be talked about here in this main event. If you want to go ahead and introduce it, I'll let you.
Yeah. We got Amanda Lemos, number 7th ranked strawweight, plus 195. Fight Marina Rodriguez, number 3 ranked strawweight, minus 230 favorite. Interesting enough, both of these women are 35 years old. I didn't realize that really going into this one.
I didn't realize Rodriguez was that old. I knew Lemos was that old.
And so, I'll be real. I loved me Rodriguez in this one. I was in lockstep with Vegas on this one, and apparently Rodriguez is saying a bunch of shit before this fight. Like, I shouldn't even be having to fight this girl. Like, I should be fighting up. I should be number 1 contender. Like, she accepted it because she wanted, I guess, main event, bag, whatever reasons. But UFC probably promised her a win over here. Probably does make her the number 1 contender. Whatever. They told her to get her to do it. And Lemos, obviously, big opportunity for Lemos because, I mean, if you beat number 3, I mean, you're right there knocking at the door. And
and if it isn't, hold on. If Rodriguez is talking shit about I shouldn't even have to fight this girl, blah blah blah, well, you're insinuating it's an easy fight at that point, right?
Yeah. Oh, 100%. That's the connotation.
So at that point, you're ranked number 3, and you know Zhang Weili is going to fight Carlos Esparza, and that Rose just had the shittiest performance of all time. So would you rather fight Rose or Lemos? I think you'd rather fight Lemos if it means that your next win pushes you to the title.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think she's kind of like not counting her blessings in getting this fight.
No, that's a great point. And it's a main event, you know what I mean?
But blessings might be curses. I don't know.
No, for sure. And then, but man, this fight, the first 2 rounds were a snooze fest. And I honestly hate.
First round was ultra snooze.
Like, I hate that this fight ended in a finish and goes down as, like, I saw people on Twitter saying, like, banger main event because it ended in a finish. Like, this fight low.
Well, it didn't get a bonus. Magny got the last bonus of the night.
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up. Good on Magny. But yeah, this fight's going to be talked about as this exciting finish. And the finish was dope. Don't get me wrong. But this fight, the first 2 rounds was a snooze fest. I was bummed. I hate when women's main events are snooze fest because, like, the fat guy ordering the 10-piece at Buffalo Wild Wings is saying, like, oh, fuck, we got this women's main event. This is always a snooze fest. And then, like, shit like this just be proving it right. Like I said, we get a finish in round 3 without spoiling anything, but god damn it, this fight did honestly kind of suck.
This fight sucked until it didn't.
It sucked until it didn't, and I hate whenever 10-piece B-dubs McGee get, like, kind of proven right.
Well, there were no critical moments in the fight until the first minute of the 3rd round, where the fight ends within. So
that being said,
we got to go round by round because the judges do score this a little weird. First round was very close.
I scored to Rodriguez.
She got the late takedown with the nice ground and pound, and that's literally what I scored the round on. It was a full split
till the entire round.
Yeah, nothing else happened.
Bullshit. Yes, exactly.
Now one judge gave it to Lemos.
How?
Yeah. I might have to roll a mini hill on that one. That's pretty fucking wild.
And then round 2, also snoozy, but I give it to Lemos because she got the trip takedown, took the back. Kind of had the neck crank. It wasn't that close, but it was by far the most impactful moment of the round.
Lemos definitely wins the second round.
So I thought there was a clear winner in each round, even though neither did much in each round, if that makes sense. Like
low damage, low activity.
100%.
So 2 judges have it scored like you and I, 19-19. One judge, Sally Amato, who I usually think has the best scorecards, has a 2018 Lemos, which, I mean, how?
That's bullshit, man.
No. That's the reason I wanted to go round by round, just to bring that up. But
it's also on some Carla Rose shit where, like, you don't get to complain because you didn't, like...
You didn't really do anything.
Yeah, no, that's why I'm not rolling out the hills. Because, A, it doesn't matter we get a finish, but also, B, like, hard for me to go to bat for you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If you're fucking around.
Like, what'd you give me to speak for you on? Like, what
Exactly.
good things can I say about you? I can't.
Yep.
It's like, do I have less good things to say about her than you? I don't know. I have nothing about either of you.
And then I guess you gave it to Lemos because in the very few strike exchanges, she was the much more powerful striker. So you could argue the damage argument, but I think that's kind of a stretch. But let's get to round 3.
Sure. So round 3 comes out, and Lemos decides, fuck it, I'm just gonna start throwing big shots. Rodriguez eats the first couple, pretty well, and starts throwing back, but then gets a little reckless and eats a couple more big rights. And finally, one of those rights that gets through one of those big right hooks, just like you could tell it put her on fucking stars and Tweety birds. You know what I mean?
She was hurt. She was wobbled for sure. She was staggered.
Now that being said, Lemos only lands one more really hard punch after that before the ref stops it. I thought.
Early stoppage.
I thought you should have let Rodriguez get put down. Like, she hit the fence, let her slide down.
Yeah, she was never out. I mean, she was dazed and she wasn't really defending. Like, her hands were down and she was eating bombs. It was early to me. Now, it's tough because I'm pretty much just saying I want her to eat more damage because I think she was going to recover and get a takedown. No,
it wasn't the shadow realm. I'll tell you that.
It was the beginning of the end, but keyword there being beginning. Like, it was not the end. Like, early stoppage, and I feel pretty good about saying it. I think I tweeted out some things from our Twitter account calling it an early stoppage. Like, so not like robbery or like sketchy early stoppage. Like, in all fairness, the ref probably did just save it from unnecessary damage, which is his job. She wasn't out. She wasn't even knocked down. She wasn't like cut super gnarly or anything. She was dazed. She was staggered. She was hurt. Yeah. But I mean, that's not the definition of when to stop a fight.
No, I agree with you, man. But what makes it super interesting is how the rankings play out now, because Rodriguez essentially loses her front runner ability to get that title shot for this next one up. Lemos now rockets back up to the top, and Andrade is booked to fight. Who is she booked to fight? Lauren Murphy already, which is a weird fight for her to take. Because Lauren Murphy's number
because it's like a winnable fight.
Well, Lauren Murphy's number 4 in a weight class above.
What up, Murphy? Oh, you're right. So Murphy's dropping down to strawweight, or is
Andrade is going up?
Well, she's fought in that weight class before, and I'm sure strawweight probably is hard for her to make.
Just a weird, and then Jan Janon and Mackenzie Dern definitely don't deserve that shot, but I believe Lemos has a loss to. Here, let's see. I know she has a recent loss.
Lemos has a lot of losses. That's what's so crazy about this. But when she wins, it's so impressive.
Oh, she lost she's the one that got put out by the standing triangle from Andrade.
Andrade, yeah. So Lemos lost to Andrade in pretty bad fashion, but now she beat the person ranked ahead of Andrade. Weili is fighting Carla. I mean, is Rose the only fight to make?
Pretty much. It's Lemos
Rose. I mean, it's really the two people left without dance partners,
and
right?
What a snoozy fight that's going to be. I mean, I say that. It won't be watched because of that.
Or it'll be just like this one, to where it's like it's snoozy till it ain't, till Rose lands a head kick or Lemos lands a bomb.
True.
But everything in between from the start of the bill till then will kind of suck.
I think that's kind of the only thing you can do, though, here.
And then it's always tricky getting Rose to the table, right? Like, she's not super active. She's like deals with her mental health.
Kind of a mental case, yeah.
Like, I'm not like turning my nose up at. Like, that's real things you got to deal with. But as far as like
professional business settings, like, it's a business.
It's tough, but it's like that's why I don't like whenever we give Colby a pass. I hate to bring this full circle because everybody shits on Rose. Colby just like
puts on entertaining fights
every 2 years. He does put on
guaranteed entertaining fights. He's going to talk shit and he's going to make great press conferences.
True. But as far as clogging up the rankings, I mean, they're the same person in my opinion.
Yeah, but what you get when you see them fight is so much different. Like, what you get is a guarantee with Colby. With Rose, you might or you might not.
Yeah, it's true. It's true,
Tis the
man.
season for savings at Diamonds Direct. Join us November 11th through 13th for 20% off designer engagement rings, wedding bands, diamond fashion, gemstone jewelry, and more. With Diamonds Direct's unmatched selection, the perfect gift for yourself or the one you love is within reach. Plus, you can keep your gift merry and bright for years to come with our lifetime warranty included with each purchase. Make your appointment for this must-see event. Find out more information and shop online at diamondsdirect.com.
Pretty much, like just.
We're in break. We were talking
Well,
about
I
superlatives we have for these two strawweights. Lemos, some
pretty much either
unbelievable
for the next
finishes.
There is a new
strawweight contender.
Because if Fiora were to lose, then it's pretty much Tyler Santos.
He had knockdowns with the right hand and her jab.
That'd be dope to be number one contender both ways.
Right on the jaw. She just
That
sits
would
back.
be- that's
Lemos
wild.
just
Yeah,
sits
Godwin
back.
is stacked for
She
that, for
knew
real. Now,
Montserrat
thinking about
Cañeo
it.
was going to
It's
come
all-
rushing at
he's
her,
kinda like
trying to get
like
some
a
strikes so
Hamza
that she
in
could
a
get
way,
the
like,
takedown
oh,
ultimately.
Yeah,
and just
not
those
as
counter shots.
dominant, but
Look at
willing
that,
to go
she
between
pivots
weights and
as her
dominate girls.
opponent, who's a known
Like,
wrestler. She's coming
If
forward and
Hamza
she's landing
announced that he
power
was going to
strikes. She
85,
pivots
he'd be
out
the
the way,
number
so
one
not only
contender,
doing
right? Like,
damaging
he'd probably
strikes,
fight
but
like
very,
a-
very
I
aware
don't
of her
even know,
surroundings,
Cannonier
where
or
she is in
somebody
the
like that
octagon.
for, like-
And I agree with her
I'll
coach.
give you
I agree with the
185. You tell me the
manager.
matchup
This
you
woman
want in the top
is
6.
definitely a contender. I'm telling
Paul
you that.
It'd have to be like
Not a
top
potential
3, top
champion.
4.
Well, maybe not like that. Because listen. Top 6. Paulo Costa, Derek Brunson, Pereira, Vettori, Cannonier, Whitaker, Adesanya. It's probably someone like Cannonier, Vettori, or Whitaker.
Yeah, I think it'd be Vettori. That's who I think it would be.
But dude is so in the doghouse that I could see them doing the Brunson.
Coach Trevor Whitman is with us
Oh,
tonight. Trevor,
my goodness.
just as I go to you, knockdown
Yeah,
from
they
Lemos.
Costa would
should.
just be fun.
And
That'd
that is
probably be the
it.
best
Look at
matchup
Trevor,
for
but
Hamza,
Amanda
probably.
Lemos,
Oh, my
just
goodness.
as she said
I
she
do.
would do, finishes
But if you let him
Lavinia
come in at
Souza
number 5,
emphatically
and he
next
gets
week,
to
Joe.
automatically
Look
take
at the
5,
power this woman
and
has.
the
Just
weight
flips
class
her
is
in the
so.
chin
I mean, if
and drops her
Adesanya
there,
wins, he
batter
would literally
her.
get next up because everyone
Look
else
at that
already fought and lost at that point.
My
If Pereira
goodness.
doesn't
And
win,
this is the end.
And also, if they
I mean,
really want
so this
Hamza
is
to be
these are the
champion, and this
exchanges
whole
when they run
doghouse shit is
around,
kind of
where
just
she's
for show,
battering her and beating her
then
up.
I think
This is the end here.
if Pereira
Jabs with a
wins,
jab.
Hamza
And
versus
steps
Pereira, I
forward
think
and
it's like
cracks
a
her with a
perfect
couple
matchup.
oh
for
my
Hamza.
god, yeah.
Can I be honest with you
And
about
if
this?
they really want to get
Dog
Hamza,
Pereira.
Jason Herzog jumping
if
in
they
there.
really want to put a belt around Hamza, that might be the path. Real talk.
Yeah. But that pretty much is going to wrap up episode 109. Main card's done, but we do have one more episode we're going to add. So anyone that's watching, please stay tuned. Big announcement.
Now the push coming from Oliver.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm excited. It's crazy shit. For real.
I love Slaker beats. Let's go.